Joining us now is the current mayor of Virginia Beach, Will Sessoms. Mr. Mayor, good to have you, man.
It's good to be with you. Hope you're doing well.
Never better. Trump's going to win. You can put that one in the bank. Tell all your globalist friends and elite donors the party's over come November 9th. Now,
I'll take your word for it, okay?
I'm never wrong about this stuff, Mr. Mayor. Now, let me outline this mayoral race in Virginia Beach. This is a nonpartisan race, so there's no Democrat or Republican. There's 4 candidates in it. It'll be decided November 8th, along with everything else. Mayor Will Sessoms, he's the incumbent running for re-election. Perennial candidate George Foreman III has no shot in this race. Rick Kolowich, he's run for office before, and Don Weeks, former city councilman, Virginia Beach. Mr. Mayor, let's get right to some of the facts. I know our time is short today. And start with light rail. I mean, you can't talk about Virginia Beach without talking about light rail. And everybody's either for it or against it. Millions of dollars being spent. You look at right now the tide in the Norfolk area. It's the most subsidized rail line in the history of the world. Why bring it to Virginia Beach?
Okay, well, first of all, there are good people on both sides of the light rail issue, and I say it as sincerely as I can say it. I think, we have to look at it like a road project. I can show you road projects in Virginia Beach. Nemo Parkway, we built it in 5 phases. That road was barely used until the 3rd or 4th phase. Then when we finished it on the 5th phase, it's probably one of the most used roads in Virginia Beach. We also have to talk about the vision for our city and our region 25 years from now. I would venture to tell you that if we don't have a successful multimodal transportation system in our city and in our region 25 years from now, we will look back and say, gosh, we really screwed up.
So you think the bottom line is for your city to continue to grow and prosper, regardless of whatever the cost is to the taxpayer and how the numbers look now, you've got to get light rail in there.
Well, I would sit back and say to you, I want to bring up the cost because I will not support light rail at the cost that is currently represented at $310 million. If you go look at what the cost of light rail was in Norfolk, it was $42.8 million a mile with all the cost overruns and all the issues they had to deal with. We had a PPEA presented to the city of Virginia Beach from Phil Shuquette 3 years ago that would run light rail from Newtown Road to Rosemont Road at $45 million a mile. Mm-hmm. So, you do 3 times that. Also, don't forget, there's $155 million of state money that the city gets to spend first on this project. Mm-hmm. That state money is money that we've all paid. We all pay state taxes. That money is going to be used for rail somewhere else in the Commonwealth if it is not used here in Virginia Beach. And I truly hate to see that $155 million leave.
All right, so for
also, we got a referendum coming up, and we will abide by the will of the people with the referendum in November.
All right, so for the argument you just made, Mayor, you're kind of using Terry McAuliffe's Medicaid expansion argument. Basically, if we don't get the billions of dollars for Medicaid expansion in Virginia, it's going to go somewhere else, Indiana, Illinois, Texas, so we might as well get money. Same basic argument, right?
Well, no, because he's saying that money is going to be ongoing. I'm saying this is a one-time hit, not to be looking for any additional money at this point. This is for a capital project. This is not for an operating budget.
All right, Mr. Mayor, your vision for light rail, is it to take it to the oceanfront town center, then to the oceanfront? What's your vision?
The vision for light rail is there's currently an EIS as we speak to go to the naval base. I would suggest that we would go to the naval base next. We would get to Old Dominion University. We would go to Chesapeake and go to the oceanfront. I also would suggest that there will be more modern technology available to us, hopefully in the next few years, that we could tie into Town Center. Our design for light rail coming to Town Center would allow for a new type of technology, and that would allow us to go north and south instead of east and west, which would allow us to go into Kempsville, would allow us to go to Shore Drive, would allow us to go to Little Creek and to the airport.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely. And look, I think getting to ORF is critical. You look at light rail anywhere in any city in America, things changed when they got it to the big airport airport in the area. That's always kind of the turning point with it because it gives people an option. They get on it. They don't have to park. They don't have to pay for that. And then, they start running it for other things. So I think you're on the right track there. Mr. Mayor, let's
John,
get...
Also,
go ahead.
If I could just interject, I had the pleasure of talking to Pat McCrory about a month ago. Bob McDonald got him on the phone for me. And I think Pat McCrory is probably one of the most conservative people in the country right now. I think people would say that. Pat McCrory said to me that light rail is what helped make Charlotte what it is today. Mm-hmm. And he took a lot of flack when he was mayor of Charlotte to make it happen. But now they're trying to expand it all over that area because it has been so successful. I think we have the same opportunity here in Virginia Beach.
Well, the other thing they did in Charlotte and throughout North Carolina is they poured millions of dollars in a contract with Amtrak, basically giving passenger rail service, up and down that their, mini Silicon Valley area. That I talked to a lot of people that's how they get to work. So look, it's taken time, but I have a bunch of friends of mine that live in that triangle, and they go to work every day on rail.
That's correct.
So, it can work, but you have to put the time and effort in it. Let's get to the arena. We've been talking about this forever, an arena in Virginia Beach. Talk about it. Is this going to be a reality or what?
I would hope that next week we'll have some really good news, which will say that they've got the financing in place and construction could begin by the end of the year. Mm. I have never been as confident as I am today as on the arena moving forward. And please recognize that the arena is going to be financed privately, built with private funds, and the city takes no risk on the $200 to $220 million in debt they'll be taking on. And I have never felt as confident as I do today about that project moving forward.
So with your vision after, is it like if you build it, they will come? Are you guys looking for a major league sporting franchise? You think you just put it up, take a shot, and somebody will be there?
Well, I think you got to look at it two different ways. First of all, it's being built with the assumption there is no professional sports team, and the numbers work extremely well. We miss a lot of entertainment in the winter. They fly right over this region to go to different arenas. That's going to be a huge draw. We do quite well in doing sports marketing in this city as it stands. That you give us that arena. I have actually heard from the ACC director. Mm-hmm. They would love to have some tournaments here in Virginia Beach because we're right in the center of everything as far as if you think where we're located and where the ACC teams are. Mm-hmm. We will get some NCAA playoffs. I mean, we are, and my point is the numbers work without the team. Now, just think if we had that arena built today, and look what's happened to North Carolina with, the ACC tournaments not being there, the NCAA tournaments. Wouldn't it be great for them to be able to come just, several hundred miles here and use it? And also, after looking at a professional basketball team a few years ago, you have a much better chance of acquiring a team if you already have a facility for them to move into. Mm-hmm.
Well, look, there's no question about it. I think, I used to be a racehorse trainer. I remember following your effort to get the racetrack in Virginia Beach. I was shocked when they went, up in the Richmond suburbs and, the whole thing died. Had you gotten that track in Virginia Beach, I'm telling you, the whole thing would have been different. It would have been unbelievably successful. So,
what troubled me most about that?
What?
It's one thing to say no to Virginia Beach, but they shouldn't have said no to Churchill Downs. That was our partner. Churchill Downs was the best there is in the horse business, and how they let that slip, I cannot begin to understand.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Mayor, it was a double screw-up. It's cost thousands of jobs and opportunity. If anybody understands the horse racing industry and the ancillary businesses that go with it from feed on down, it's millions of dollars. Churchill Down, number one in the United States. They went with the Jacobs family that never ran a racetrack in their life. The whole thing was asinine. So, all right, I got a couple more minutes. I got a question here from one of our callers who says, you voted for Terry McAuliffe and endorsed him in 2013. In 2016, are you going to vote for Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not voting for Hillary Clinton. And at this time, I'm really and truthfully leaning towards Trump, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a huge fan of Trump's, and I've got to get more comfortable with him. I'm certainly leaning that way. But I tell you, I'm focused on the mayor's race, and the mayor's race, is what my focus is, and I will determine who I'm going to vote for just prior to the election. But I have Trump, to me, today is a much better candidate than he was 3 or 4 weeks ago. Let me say that to you, and I truly mean that by what I say.
Well, I tell you what I'm going to do, Mr. Mayor. I'm the Trump co-chair in Virginia. As you know, the next time he comes into your area, I'm going to be sure that you get some time with him. And I think after you meet him, you're going to be really fired up about it, and he's going to get your
That could
endorsement.
very easily get me to cross the finish line.
All right. Is that a fair exchange? Is that a good
Absolutely.
deal? All right, I'll make it
Absolutely.
happen. Let's get to uranium mining. I mean, we've been talking about this forever. What now?
Right. Well, the truth of the matter, getting back to Terry McAuliffe, I'm not worried about uranium mining with him being governor. He'll veto anything that comes in front of him. As such, I don't think you're going to see much action in the General Assembly with the current governor. Uranium mining puts our drinking water in jeopardy. And when you talk about your drinking water being in jeopardy, I don't think there's anything more important to us than having a good, solid source of water. The city of Virginia Beach, along with our neighboring cities, will fight that happening as hard as we can, and I believe we will be successful.
All right, so that's going to be off the table. I'm with you on that. I don't think it ought to be done in the area. We're on the same page there. Mr. Mayor, in your last municipal election, I took a tremendous amount of flack when I, in this radio network, endorsed Ben Davenport for Virginia Beach City Council. He was a Democrat, obviously. I thought the council needed new blood, new energy, and also somebody to champion high-speed cable internet to take Virginia Beach to a new level. Nobody else would talk about it except for Ben. He's been spearheading that, and I think my endorsement was spot on. Now, how do we get transatlantic cable to get the high-speed internet in Virginia Beach you're going to need in order to bring in the high-tech jobs?
Well, first of all, you were so right to be endorsing Ben as I did. He's been a breath of fresh air and a lot of energy to our council. This cable, we have been able to partner with people like Microsoft. I mean, they want to be a part of this because of our location being central. Let me tell you, when this cable gets here, and it's already getting started as we speak, they've already acquired the land at Corporate Landing for the wires to come in, for the cable to come in. You can buy a stock in the UK here in Virginia Beach and push that button and get it confirmed quicker than you could be in the UK buying the stock and pushing the button. Does that tell you something?
Yes.
That is not an exaggeration. That is an absolute fact. We are going to have people that want to tie in this all along the East Coast. It's going to be the fastest cable that's available when it comes over here. It is very exciting, and also it makes for companies to want to be able to move and be closer to that cable. Okay,
so is this going to be a reality now or what?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our partners are already Microsoft, which speaks volumes, and they've already acquired land in Corporate Landing. I believe they've acquired 8 acres there, and I don't know if they're close, but I know it's under contract, and that's where the building will come, and that's where the cables will be coming to.
All right. We're almost out of time. I'm with Virginia Beach Mayor Will Sessoms. He's running for re-election November 8th. There's 3 other candidates in the race: George Foreman III, Rick Kalowich, and former city council member Don Weeks. Voters in Virginia Beach will make a decision on November 8th on Will Sessoms' fate. Mr. Mayor, I've got to ask you this. There was an expose last year, obviously, in Virginia Beach Pilot. It caused you basically to resign from your company, Town Bank. There was a lot of claims of crony capitalism. You're being very cozy with developers, and a lot of people thought you should have recused yourself on a lot of this stuff. Where are you on this, sir, now?
very simple. There were a lot of claims, a heck of a lot of claims. And the truth of the matter is there was a thorough investigation on me, my entire family. They know more about me than me, and they made it quite clear there was no malfeasance in office. I did make a mistake on one vote after they looked at thousands, and I acknowledged I made a mistake. That vote was on a consent item. The application, every application is to be filled out by the applicant, and they're supposed to state, there's a questionnaire there that says, tell who your architect is, attorneys are, financing is. It was not filled out properly. It was not represented that Town Bank was the financing it. But nonetheless, I'm ultimately responsible for having to know that, and I took responsibility. I'm sorry I did it, and but it was one, and I still am sorry for what I did. It was a mistake.
That's fair enough, right? We all make mistakes. You got to admit them. You've certainly done that. What's your final message? I got about a minute or two remaining. What do you want to tell voters of Virginia Beach? Why should they reelect you, Mayor Sessoms, as mayor again?
Well, right now, this city of Virginia Beach is financially sound, and that's the most important thing. We're AAA rated by all rating agencies across the country. That allows us to have a very good police department, which allows us to be the safest city of our size in the country. Our school system right now, I hope you read the newspaper in Virginia Beach yesterday. We're very close to having every school in Virginia Beach accredited. Mm-hmm. I venture to tell you, I think we're the highest accredited in the Hampton Roads and significantly higher than our neighbors. Mm-hmm. But my point being, I think by the end of this next school year, and this is me after talking to the school board chairman and the school superintendent, it's very possible that our school system will be 100% accredited. Mm-hmm. And then finally, I hope that everyone knows that I'm chairman of HR TAC, which is addressing the transportation needs of the region. And we are working diligently to make sure that I-64, which is already under construction and being widened, will be widened all the way to Richmond. We've approved the I-264-64 interchange. We've approved the widening of the high-rise bridge. And now we're in the process of determining where the third harbor crossing will be, which all these things a few years ago were pipe dreams, but they are becoming reality, and I'm happy to say that I've been a part of them.
All right, Mayor Will Sessoms, Virginia Beach, nonpartisan race. You're going to decide his fate on November 8th in Virginia Beach. The other candidates running, George Foreman, perennial candidate, Rick Kalowich, and former city councilman Don Weeks. Mr. Mayor, the next time Mr. Trump is in town, I'm going to be sure that you have a couple minutes with him, and we look forward to your enthusiastic endorsement of Mr. Trump after that meeting. What do you think?
I look forward to meeting with him. I really do.
All right. Mayor Will Sessoms. Mayor, people want more info. Where do they go?
WillSessomsForMayor.com.
WillSessomsForMayor.com. Mr. Mayor, thanks for being with us.